welcome. Good evening, good morning, hello, everywhere on your own screen. Yes, you made it. You are with the fabulous CRM Convo show, and yes, you see right. We have a friendly guest smiling because he has a lot to smile about and is looking forward and having this triumvirate of interesting lemon squeezes at his surrounding. Now he is getting nervous. No, don't worry, Kris. Honestly, we are from the good side of the force, and the force will be with you to speak so. It is our pleasure that after we have met in recent times, only virtually, that from the starting point where Salesforce Starter product was not yet called Starter, which I used as a little teaser, such as the easy way to go into the Salesforce route with Salesforce Starter. And I would love to leave the floor to you with a short introduction. What did you do before you joined Salesforce? Welcome, Kris.
Thanks so much. It's awesome to be here. I was smiling originally because your intro, it's dramatic and it's punchy. I was loving it. No, I'm really excited to be here to share more about Salesforce Starter and what we're doing. Just a little about me. I'm based up in our Bellevue, Washington offices. I've been at Salesforce about 5 years. Before Salesforce, I did a stint at Microsoft, and before that, 3 different startups was kind of my background and path to get here. A little about me. Big outdoors guy, love sports, and end up spending most of my time that's not in the office with my wife, my 6-year-old daughter, and our 2-year-old chocolate lab Sky. So we're an outdoorsy family, and it was a nice long weekend here, and we're re-entering now. So excited to be here with you all to kick off the week.
Well, welcome back from the holiday.
And fantastic that you have several common interests, especially with Thomas, who is an outdoor fan as well and has a dog as well.
And I'm in the hood, by the way.
I didn't realize you were in Sammamish. I actually live in Sammamish, so my commute is 20 minutes into the Bellevue office. So yeah. I envision a coffee in our future.
Neighbors.
Yes, same here. Yeah, same here. Where in Sammamish are you?
It's off the Lake Road, off East Lake Sammamish.
Okay, so I'm on the other side. I'm just off 244, close to
there
the
you go.
Yeah.
We should do this in the Bellevue office next time. We have a return trip when I have more news to share.
Yeah, most certainly.
That is a fantastic opportunity and drives me directly that I take the point from Thomas that we have fabulous 4 here on the screens, that it is fantastic to have your background and that you are often in your former business lives, to say so, in the startup environment. And sometimes it's good to feel that Microsoft behaves itself as a startup as well. Now, that is an opportunity if people approach you from your employer, Salesforce, and say, well, we remember with a very good feeling and a top spirit and the enthusiasm when we started this. Clean, easy, a lot of positive spirit around. Not saying that it's not, again, these days like that, but it was special. And you had your dogs, you had your pets. This was a family reunion or a bigger getting family, and that spirit has been driving the extraordinary, let's say, success and the route and the journey. Now, after the 3 of us from the analyst perspective have found that essential is nice, but it's not as nice as we expected it for several years. And to a certain degree, when I was consulting customers, I was a bit missing the real sexiness. And now you come along and say, hey, Ralph, we have some good news for you. The sexiness is back. Now, tell us a bit more about what is the Starters Edition target market and who you want to become rich, famous with a sexy product.
Why become?
It's a great setup. Well, you mentioned essentials there, and I think we learned a lot in our journey with essentials. And when we started out this next journey with what was originally called Easy about almost 2 years ago now, the whole idea was, how do we build a product and take all of the jewels that Salesforce has and really get back to our roots and make things simple, streamlined, easy, so that customers could get started on their path. And along this journey, we've spent a lot of time talking to our customers. And what we've heard is that they're looking for simple, they're looking for out of the box, they're looking for seamless, and they're looking for, call it a suite of products, and thinking about more of the jobs that they need to do that are kind of cross-cutting. So when I think about what Starter is bringing forth, we're really trying to answer that call of our customers with a simple out-of-the-box experience, with a product that's easy to use, no setup required. We have this mantra in our team. We say easy by default and advanced by choice. So Salesforce obviously has an amazing platform, but we want to do things like deliver defaults to users so they understand the value. And one of my favorite examples of this is, if you create a bunch of opportunities in Salesforce, you should understand what that means. The data in creates outputs. So if you create a bunch of opportunities in Starter, you have a bunch of default dashboards to tell you how your business is doing. And you could always build on top of those dashboards or those reports or create your own. But we really want to showcase the power of everything we do out of the box for the user. And in addition to that, we've really differentiated ourselves from what Essentials was in the past by delivering a combination of sales and service back in April. And as of just a couple of weeks ago, we delivered Marketing Cloud onto the product as well. So really that suite of offerings that allows for user to get their job done and really get back to doing their job. So we're excited with what we're bringing to market. And, we've had, I'd say, a swath of different size customers come into the product thus far. We have the folks who are just getting out, just getting started in their business, one or two customers, one or two seats in their org. And we've had some larger customers who just need a simplified solution to get started and get into the Salesforce ecosystem. So we're really not, I wouldn't say we're targeting one user base over the other. We're just trying to build a product that's fit for purpose and that allows users to get up and running with Salesforce easily.
It sounds like as you said before, return to Salesforce's roots. The CRM revolution really, or the SaaS revolution really started with companies like Salesforce and their ability to onboard smaller companies, less complex companies, and get them up and running. I'm glad to see that you've gone back.
We're very much going back down that path. It's funny. I tell this story whenever I get the chance. Parker Harris, one of our co-founders, obviously, when he and I met when I was just starting down this journey, he shared the company's original V2 MOM, which is our vision, our values, our obstacles, our methods, and our measures, effectively the company goals for the year. And one of the things that was written on that V2 MOM was make it easy. And so we've really gone back to the beginning and said, we have an amazing set of powerful offerings. How do we simplify them? How do we make them simple yet powerful and easy for customers to use? So that's definitely the path that we're headed.
And I, with pleasure and with a big smile in my face, recall when I have been invited to Salesforce as an analyst. And I was there when they did the preparation in the Moscone Center, and Mark was on stage and started preparing some of his keynote when he was telling how he met Colin Powell first time. And what was for him the trigger to do the one approach and doing some good and giving back to the community. And that was impressive. And no doubt it was even more fascinating. And having Colin Powell the next day on stage as well, when he was referencing, well, I'm no longer in an official role, and now I have to go to all the security checks like everybody else. It's some difference that you do not have your plane at hand. Yeah. And he did tell a lot of stories and his version on how he met Mark and the team at that time. And that was impressive, such as down to earth. Now you have grown larger, you have made your path, and I believe it is extremely valuable to remember one's roots, to remember where you come from, and to, in a certain decency, and I feel a bit as a solopreneur, even though I have a cool team internationally driving and presenting what we have for skills, that there are moments when you get humble and you do a little reflection such as, wow, where have we gone?
Yeah, I think for us it was really about. I mean, we have an amazing admin base, and our Trailblazer community is second to none. We think that the innovation that we're doing and trying to drive simplicity for our users, that simple but powerful message, it helps not only the end user, but it helps everybody in our ecosystem focus on high value tasks and whatnot. If we can make it easier to do things like reset a password, that's one less job for an admin to take on when they can get back to building more robust applications on the Salesforce platform. So we're really excited to take on the challenge of that simple end user driven approach, and really more a product led growth approach, I would say, inside of Salesforce, to allow our users to not have to talk to a salesperson if they don't want to. One of the things that we saw early on when we were on this journey was the demand from the market for some or all of the buying process to be via self-service, and I think that's becoming more the norm, especially with up and coming companies. They just want to get in, they just want to experience the product, and they just want to learn on their own. And so that's why we've done things like offer a free 30-day trial, built-in guidance sets for the user. As I mentioned, our out-of-the-box defaults, so users can really get up and running without having to talk to anybody and just experience the product and learn down the path that we're going. And in fact, we've done things that you mentioned earlier, our shipping every 2 weeks and our rapid iteration process that we're taking on. We're actually learning from our customers. We're spending a ton of time talking to our customers, understanding their needs, and understanding data associated with how they're using the product to better inform what we build next. If you try the product out, you'll see that we've built kind of a home experience, and we did based on user feedback. We wanted to bridge the gap of kind of what do you need to know and what do you need to do to get your jobs done for the day. So we brought that experience front and center to the customer to kind of inform them their most recent data, what needs their attention, and we're continuing to iterate on that. And as you know, Dreamforce is next week. So we'll have a lot more to show there. We'll be demoing some cool new UI elements, some interesting new features and functionality, but really at all times keeping the customer in the center and making everything we do driving ease and simplicity and performance for our customers.
Cool.
Looking into what you just said, so you're creating new visuals, new UIs that I understand are specific to Starter. Now, some of your clients will outgrow Starter sooner or later. How does that tie back into the other Salesforce editions? Because, well, no customer wants to lose something that they learned and loved, or learned to love even.
One of the great things about Starter is we're pushing the innovation and the simplicity that we drive in Starter throughout our editions. So our goal is, making the starter edition a place where users can start and get started and grow with Salesforce. We don't want to put anybody on an island. So starter is just an edition, and it's built on our core infrastructure. And so the graduation path from starter to PE or starter to EE or starter to UE exists. And it's effectively the same as you would have in any other Salesforce edition. So we're allowing customers that graduation path in a simplified fashion, but we're also, all the goodness that we're bringing to starter, we're trying to populate throughout the rest of Salesforce as well.
Is it time to publish a new version of Salesforce for Dummies?
I wasn't around. For that. We're trying to make the product just as simple as it gets out of the gate. If a customer has to reach out to support or contact an admin or do something like that, the starter product we learn from that, and we need to fix things if that's happening. So I wouldn't say Salesforce for Dummies. I would say Salesforce for users and Salesforce for users who just want to get the job done.
Okay, so when will the color code be changed to yellow then?
We're not getting away from blue.
I still have my first edition of that sitting around here somewhere. I think Mark signed it, actually.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah, if I'd thought of it, I would have dug it out for this show.
That predates me, but that's hilarious. I'm glad you still hold on to that.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Circling back a little to the bringing your innovations back into the core of the company, or the rest of the company, basically, not the core. Having worked at other big companies myself that also start with an S, where I learned that it's quite difficult to have one department, and essentially you are a kind of a department, a branch, a division, drive some innovations that are relevant to other ones as well, and getting them into the other divisions. How do you avoid this not invented here syndrome?
It's a really good question. And what we've really done is we've opened up kind of the cross-team collaboration in a way that I don't think we could have gotten to where we are without the support of Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Marketing Cloud. It's very much a cross-cutting collab. So we're not making any decisions in isolation. My team partners with all of those other teams who have product delivery and roadmaps of their own, but we collaborate, we come to a common decision around what's good for the user, what's good for Salesforce, and deliver that feature and functionality. And sometimes it's my team building it, sometimes it's another team building it. But it's kind of a focus on design and user experience, I would say, that we're bringing to the forefront in collaboration. So it's an interesting model. It's working for us. But yeah, the last thing we want to do is create unique experiences in a silo and not allow for that goodness to get out to others. So, other clouds make changes, bring them down into Starter. We make changes, bring them into the other clouds, and at all times we're collaborating across. So it's been a great partnership.
That makes it even more interesting because collaboration across a larger body of divisions, let me call them divisions,
Sure.
Lacking a better word, usually slows things down because of coordination, and Division A might have other priorities and views on the world than Division B. So how do you keep up the pace then? How do you keep up the necessary fast decision making?
I think it's kind of a shared vision. I go back to kind of the overall idea of our V2 MOM and how we set the course and charter for the company for the year. And there's really a shared vision around ease of use and simplicity that's permeating the company. So it's, the idea of cross-cloud collaborate or cross-division collaboration, the way you described it, it could be daunting if you didn't start out with that shared vision. But fortunately for us, I think that's where we took our time. That's where we've done things right, and we continue to push forward with that shared vision. So it's working.
Okay, there's clearly something to learn for other companies there. How to actually coordinate this. So it's quite exciting for me.
Yeah, no, it's been exciting for me, and like it's not to say it hasn't been without its challenges at times,
No.
but everything does, and I think it is that coordinated approach and the shared vision that allows us to get where we're going. So, and you'll see more. Like I said at Dreamforce, there's more coming. There's maybe more product introduction into Starter that you'll see there. So I'm excited about what we're going to share next week.
Well, if you're exciting, we certainly should be too.
Yeah, we are looking forward to that.
Yeah, as long as the larger, let's say, departments and other divisions have their stuff to look for, and they let you do your stuff, and you have your peace of mind. And as a famous German comedian and thoughtful writer Loriot once said, as long as people do not talk into your meals, it is fine. There are no disturbance. Yeah. And that's welcome. Such as if people with a certain enviness go for your area and say, those good old days, or if they have been talked about and they get that saying, that could be also the enthusiasm to join your team and drive a new route within the company. Yeah.
Whereas Loriot probably needs to be explained to everybody who is not German.
Yeah, the idea of famous German comedian doesn't really translate.
Yeah. So, well,
Victor
there's
von
this
Bülow.
little,
Sort of
there's
like
this little,
famous Scottish chef.
yeah.
It's not that common. And that's with love to all my Scottish friends.
Yeah.
But you're not known for your cuisine.
And if you Google Victor von Bülow, which is his actor's name, or when he was acting as a writer, is Loriot. And now, Thomas, back to you, to the famous couch and his art he has been drawing.
Still, you need to be proficient in German to understand that type of humor. Actually, you need to be born a German to have a chance to understand this. So it's
Another missed opportunity.
or something else that the world wouldn't miss. But
well, we're talking internationally here a little bit, right? So we started this journey in this is my segue, right? From the experts. We started this journey. We shipped our product in the U.S. first in April, and we've been slowly rolling it out, to more markets, to more regions. In October, mid-October, our plan is to be worldwide, localized. So we're continuing to expand. We're continuing to roll it out, and we're excited to see markets outside of the U.S. Get the goodness of Starter. And reactions there have been positive as well. So super excited. That's my nice segue.
Back.
We embrace that totally. And I guess that our dear friend Jesus Hoyos will have in Latin America also collecting his experiences, as when we had him the last time, he was reflecting that he was very eager to see the upcoming changes, and that he sees and saw a lot of benefit from what you were describing.
Yeah, we've been spending a lot of time with our LATAM team. They're very excited. The excitement, we talked about shared vision, but shared excitement is also very real around this offering. And so we've this product is a product-led growth effort, self-service first effort at Salesforce. But that doesn't mean sales adjacent for us. And we've seen our account executives, our sellers, have a lot of success with this product early as well. We've seen them, we hear from them as much as we hear from our customers. The idea of simple, fast, easy to get started with, especially during challenging economic times. Get into Starter and then never outgrow Salesforce. And that can be a rapid progression dependent upon a company's trajectory, or it can be a slow progression. And I think our sellers, our AEs are starting to capitalize on that as well, and getting the product to the customer that they really need. So it's exciting everywhere.
Which is quite interesting that you are mentioning sellers and AEs, because a starter product that it's targeted at the S side of SMBs is typically an inbound business, as you described, with self-service, trials, self sign-on, and all those right approaches. How is your sales approach then different from the normal enterprise sales or mid-market to upper market sales strategy, if you're tying that close into each other already?
Yeah, we are absolutely self-service first focused and inbound focused. That is the majority of how we see customers coming into our offering. But I don't think that means sales adjacent. I think it's giving our sellers the tools that they need to solve for the customers who, just need a little something to get started. And you could see a scenario where, in this market, in these more challenging economic times, customers might not have the budget to do an upper tier edition deal, but that doesn't mean that they shouldn't get started in the Salesforce ecosystem. And I think that's really the motion that our sellers are attaching to is, okay, let me get my customers started in the ecosystem, see the goodness of Salesforce, start for free and grow. And so it's, this is early days, and we do aspire to be a self-service first product, and we are, but we're not gating that off for our sellers at the same time.
What I love is that instead of with former approaches, you do not block even larger enterprises which have not an S or not an M in their size, but they, on a departmental basis, would love to try an easy route to more or less from the pricing in larger versions are more prohibitive, such as I have an easy to go route, painless, and if it's not working out, there is not the big blame. This is more like in the DACH region, we have had some sayings such as, if you make yourself some nice hours, you drive for a cup of coffee to your customers. And if you want to get a project on the road, you do a lot of driving and collecting the money and investing that money, which is for gas and your expenditures, to do a dark side project in the shadow, an unsolicited and not wanted project. And now this is opening a route for these little, let's say, guerrilla approaches, which can come to a fantastic success. And I look forward to that approach as well. Not that I'm a big guerrilla fan, but that now suddenly accessibility, the ease of getting something started and getting people into a discussion opens new possibilities and new doors.
Yeah, it's interesting. We've seen this with our with our early users. I kind of mentioned this earlier. We've seen the customers that are just getting started and get their companies off the ground. One or two users, the solopreneurs. This is a great fit for them. But also, to your point, the smaller teams within an organization. How do they get up and how do they get running, and how do we allow decision makers in those pockets of larger companies to get the tools that they need to get the job done? And so we've seen that as well. And so I think to your point, we're not focusing like narrowly on a segment. We're saying we're trying to build the right product to solve for a customer's needs and then allow them to grow seamlessly. And if that's a team within a larger organization, that's wonderful as well. We embrace that fully.
As different organizations in different sectors / industries have slightly different needs, that hints at industry solutions? ?
It's a great question.
Wait for Dreamforce or what?
I could say we won't have that statement at Dreamforce with Starter, specifically around industries. But it's something we're looking at. We really felt the need to build the power of the horizontal customer 360 and really shift that first. But I can definitely see a world where we start to focus on industries. We have an amazing industries team today. Obviously, they deliver tons of value. And so I could see collaboration there as well. Nothing to share here, but yeah, I think that's definitely a route to explore for us.
So Jujas one of the next guys to talk to, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, we should invite, with your help, David Schmeier to our little setup and ask him what he is feeling on getting his back to the roots when he was doing a lot of industry sector stuff. He is the brain behind a lot of that speed into the market and the momentum of the industry approach. And that was a point when I consulted a large German telecommunications organization. And I said, if you want to get successful as a partner of Salesforce, you have to take that industrial approach, make it a fast mover in these specified industries, and find a way to get people excited from bottom up. Now, it just took years, several to be honest, that we come towards this. But as I know that these large telecommunication organizations need their time to decide and get their fiber into the walls and into the streets, as things go by and a lot of water is going down the Rhine River, I believe there will be a bright future coming up.
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Alles gut.
I was just going to say, it's a really, you guys should come in and run product strategy for us, I guess. But no, it's a really interesting discussion around verticals. But again, I think for us, it's really about unifying the customer 360 out of the box to start with a simple solution and really getting that right. We've seen so much feedback from customers, and we actually prioritize, things like just fit and finish. How do we make this so super usable? How do we get to consumer grade? Yeah. So I think that's going to be our continued approach for some time.
Do you have a differentiation in the feedbacks from the already rolled out regions where you get dedicated feedback from users?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time, I spend a lot of time personally talking to our customers, but we spend a lot of time in focus groups, in user feedback sessions. And, I think I've said this a number of times, but, a good week for me looks like 50% of my time spent with customers and, 49-ish% of my time spent on product, in integrating that customer feedback. So we really are trying to keep the customer at the center of everything we do. And that's really, that's Salesforce, right? Everything revolves around the customer. So we aren't unique there. We're just really embracing that mantra.
And so is that approach affecting how you're rolling out to different regions?
I wouldn't say it's affecting how we're rolling out to different regions. We're rolling out as fast as we possibly can to all regions. And that's really what our goal is. It's speed. It's speed of delivery of features. It's feedback loop speed. It's international availability speed. And so that's one of our values. Speed, ease of use. We really want to move fast. So I wouldn't say it's gated based on user feedback. It's just our how fast can we go?
Okay.
What different feedbacks do you see across regions? So are the regions different, or are they, in spite of all the talk about being different, mainly the same?
Cultures, yeah, genau.
We see a lot. Well, the two things. One is the product. We've got a fully instrumented product, so we understand. Obviously at an anonymized level, users' path and understanding of how they use our offering, which really hasn't differed based on region. Candidly, we really haven't. I can't think of a scenario where we've seen markedly different feedback based on one region versus another. One of the first regions we actually rolled out to outside of the U.S. was India, and we're seeing similar feedback in India as we are seeing in the United States around product capabilities, functionality, what we need to deliver. So yeah, it hasn't really been different. I'd say potentially there's a discussion around partners to integrate with that differs by region, but that's one specific thing.
Trust me, you will have an experience. You go to the DACH region, or chat as I jokingly call, because people are very good in complaining. They are sometimes very rude, and they are very direct. So embracing the openness of their minds and having their heart on the tongue is the one aspect. The other one is you have to be a good guy with strong taker captions, such as, okay, you may hit me, but do it not too often. Yeah. But what is coming up on the road of feedback is honest, usable, and you can work with it. That is something which will drive you again forward.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I welcome all feedback as blunt as possible. That actually helps me try and solve for what the problem actually is. The areas where I don't get feedback are the ones that are troubling to me. So yeah, as we get out to other markets, we encourage all of our users to give us as much feedback as possible. We reach out to our users as often as possible to get that feedback, and tell us where we're not showing up right. Because if we don't hear from them, it's just on us to figure it out.
Are you lucky enough to have any areas where they say it's perfect, don't change a thing?
Never. It's never perfect. It's better, never done. But I would say we've had some amazing feedback from our early customers. One customer likened it to as easy to buy as sneakers online. So that that kind of feedback, it's working. And again, early days, but it's working, and we're feeling good about it. The feedback that we're getting.
And the experience you have when you onboard is very nice. You have already your easy to go setup, let's say, experiences and how to do this and that, and the connecting, let's say, in the center of intelligence, which is guiding you if you would like to be guided, such as go for these trailblazer courses and you will have a good experience, and that would suit you that well. That is a positive kind of getting embraced and hugged in the way which is even better than Salesforce for Dummies. That is Salesforce with experience from people which were as less knowledgeable as you are as a starter right now, but share their experiences they have made fast, quickly, and to their liking, and they are happy to share it with you. So good excitement, good approach.
Yeah, no, I think the approach we've taken with kind of the 3-click sign up, default org setup, no actual setup required, just out of the box onboarding that works and built-in guidance has really been valuable for our customers. And we see that correlate to kind of success of completion of tasks within CRM, with getting up and getting onboarded and success through that. So it's all the data is very encouraging for us as we push forward. And yeah, I think for us it is all about the user. It continues to be, how do we get the user into the product seamlessly, simply, and provide value as quickly as possible, so they'll come back on day 2 because they've seen enough value on day 1. That's one of the biggest success rates that I think about, is what action does a user take, how quickly do they take it, how do they show success, and how do they come back on day 2? I mean, these aren't we're not reinventing anything here. We're just looking at the data and making sure that we hit the markers on all of these things. And if we're failing in areas, the data tells us that, and we go and we try and understand the problem and try and fix it as quickly as possible.
What have been a couple of or one utterly unexpected areas of feedback or types of feedback?
One thing we saw in data early on was that when our customers came into the product, and this was very early, this was we were in pilot. When our customers came into the product, and this was before we had our home kind of landing experience, they took the same first 3 steps. Everybody went through the path of the same, first 3 clicks to get into the product, but then they kind of went everywhere, and there was no kind of guide path for how a user should interact or what they should do next. And so we actually built our homepage based on the kind of overall user sentiment and understanding of what do I need to know, what do I need to do, and we continue to refine that. So a user has a very high engagement on the first page that they see. They take massive action there, and then they come back to day 2, and they continue to revisit that page to understand what they need to know and what they need to do to have success. That was one of the biggest aha moments for us. The other aha moment for us, and this was not really an aha, it was it was something we knew, but the demand for more marketing specific scenarios inside of this integrated product was massive. And so, we reacted quickly to that, and we put in, more marketing capabilities into our offering, specifically marketing campaigns with segmentation, a little bit of AI from Einstein with send time optimization. So we're early with AI. I know Salesforce is definitely the AI company in CRM, but with Starter we're early, and we're bringing it to our customers in bite-sized increments. And one of those first increments is the send time optimization that we have associated with Marketing Cloud and segmentation. And then also analytics associated with that. How do I better understand my customer through analytics and data? And how do I create the flywheel of, a lead to a marketing campaign to a qualified opportunity, and do that inside of one product, and do that from, a single user role. What we've really seen is user roles for a lot of our customers are blurred. They don't think about it as, oh, I'm a seller, I'm a service person, I'm a marketer. They think about it as, I need to get in touch with my customers. I need to market to them effectively. I need to make my company known to them, and I need to drive business back into the system. That's what we're really allowing customers to do through Starter.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ralph.
No, Mama.
Okay. I was thinking one of the issues that may feel different at the starter level is product security. It's either something that small business owners don't think about at all, or they've heard horror stories about and are nervous about making the next step.
German angst.
Comes
German
on top,
angst. But I think that one crosses international boundaries.
Absolutely.
Everybody gets nervous about that. How does Starter introduce security to new users and make it part of their process going forward?
That's actually, it's a great question. Trust is our number one value. It always is. It permeates throughout Salesforce. And the good thing for us is, those tracks have been laid pretty well by the rest of Salesforce. We're not doing anything differently. We're simply taking on what Salesforce has done for years and years and years, being the number one most trusted CRM out there. And we're built on our core infrastructure. So it's actually easy for me. I just inherit all of the greatness of our trust values, that the rest of Salesforce already has established. So we're not doing anything there. We're lucky to have all of that groundwork laid already. So with Starter, you should feel as trusted and as secure as you would any other Salesforce product, and that's the great news for us.
Cool. And how much AI is already included?
We have two pieces of AI, really. We have Einstein Activity Capture, which allows you to connect, your calendar and external, email sources like Google and Microsoft. And we have Einstein Einstein Send Time Optimization through our Marketing Cloud capabilities. Salesforce has obviously made a lot of announcements with AI and with more GPT focused AI versus predictive. We're thinking about our roadmap and how to bring the AI into more of the base levels in Starter. How do we really make sure our customers understand it completely? It's out of the box. It just works. So we're working on that, and more to come there. But absolutely, it's a priority for us. It's amazing where the industry's headed.
What I find quite unique and encouraging is that in absence of rules and regulations with a certain in-depth frameworking, that you have set up an AI trust infrastructure with a lot of layers, and where you did hard work in getting stuff in by free will, and we would like to show you that we take this very serious approach where you have a defined architecture. Would you share some words on that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes back to trust being our number one value at Salesforce, and I everything we do has to be with trust in focus, and that's everywhere at the company. And AI is no different in that regard. And we have the whole company is invested heavily in making sure that our customers can trust whatever we bring to market, inclusive of AI scenarios. So that is and continues to be our number one value.
Where the trust layer is apparently in the platform, embedded in the platform itself. So this means it's directly available.
Yeah.
Albeit not yet fully used, as you say, you have quote unquote only two AI-based scenarios in the application.
For Starter specifically, those are our two primary AI-based scenarios for now. And as we think about how to bring that to our customer base, we will. It's a matter of timing.
How does Starter play with the data platform?
Actually, it's a good question. So Data Cloud actually sits under Starter and powers Marketing Cloud. So we actually, with Data Cloud, are able to provide a unified view of the customer 360, which helps very significantly in segmentation. Data Cloud is doing jobs on behalf of the customer under the covers in Starter. We're not specifically exposing more kind of pronounced Data Cloud capabilities at this time. But you can imagine Data Cloud is an amazing tool. It is an amazing product. It can unleash a ton of power. So we're starting with Marketing Cloud and bringing that to bear through segmentation, through powering our Marketing Cloud with next generation services powered by Data Cloud. It's the Rolls-Royce engine under the hood that we'll be doing more with down the road.
Well, one recalls that Rolls-Royce is owned by BMW, so you have some fine engine under that.
Yes, we do.
And on the other side, I would like to encourage you to do something unorthodox, because starting from scratch, people are aware that they should keep their data clean, but they forget it. What is a real cool thing if you can start in Starter with something like Data Clean GPT or something like that. That would be great.
It's a good idea. Data in is always challenging, right? And making sure we do that in a simplistic way. It's been one of the things that was actually one of the things we focused on first. How do you import data in a simple way? How do you bring it in through a default CSV or connection to one of your common data sources? And then how do you rationalize that data and make sure it remains clean, but consistent. And so when you look at Starter, a contact is a contact is a contact anywhere you go. And that's because of the power of Data Cloud underneath it resolving those, user identities. So I don't show up in your CRM system 4 different times because I'm duplicate entry. We're rationalizing those. So that's one of just the default perks of Starter is having Data Cloud under the hood, doing things for you. But it's a good point.
Yeah, I have enough trouble keeping my own address list deduped. So,
yeah, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
I recently found 2 Marshalls in mine.
Oh, 9.
And both were called Lager.
That's unlikely.
Yeah.
I'd like to meet this other one.
But that goes to the, I think it goes back to the ease of use and simplification and simplicity that we're trying to drive here. How do you make those kind of scenarios out of the box just work for the customer? And so I think there's a lot of power in looking into those scenarios, like you just called out, Marshall, and just saying, how do you solve for the customer? How do you make this easy for them? It boils down to things like that. That's the customer enjoyment that we're looking for.
Give us 2 examples where this, some concrete examples where this actually works. Because as you said before, so the power of the system, of a system, is where the outcome, not the output, the outcome is higher than what I put into it in terms of effort.
This is one of those scenarios where I'd love to pop up an org and just start demoing for you on the fly.
Well, share your screen.
I have not set up to do that at this moment, but no, I two examples. I touched on one earlier. I'll highlight the idea of everything you put into the system, from an opportunity, from a service case standpoint, from a anywhere you go, we'll build a default dashboard for you. So in a service scenario, I'll build a default dashboard for you out of the box around time to close, history of cases, total cases, stage of cases in a priority standpoint. So you just can have an understanding, a big picture look at your business for that. Similar with opportunities from a sales perspective. How much business do you plan to close? What's your report? What's your dashboard look like for that by default? The second is anytime you're on an account or a contact record inside of Starter, we position the entire customer 360 for you. What I like to do is I like to go in a demo that I'll go into account, and the account record will have all the listed opportunities and all the listed open cases by default for me out of the box, so that I can go in and I can understand where I am from an opportunity perspective with any account, and what might be hindering me from closing the business that I need to close from a support case standpoint. And that to me is pretty incredible. If I look in one view, I can see all the opportunities and all the associated cases, and then I can check in on those cases to round it out. Now, once I've closed my cases, we have by default a segmentation in our marketing experience that will show you all of your customers with resolved cases. And so you can actually go in and do something like, for any customer that has a resolved case, I could send a 10% off discount code or something like that in a branded marketing campaign. So it just flows throughout the system and really makes it easy, kind of as a step function. You step through seeing your opportunities. Oh, I have to solve this case. Oh, I've solved this case. Oh, I should send my customer this for being a loyal customer. And I can do that based on the defaults across all aspects. So there's more there. We think about these as kind of, I'll call them recipes of journeys that we think about. Those kind of surface themselves on our homepage, and we'll be getting more robust. We call this section the spotlight of recipes. So you can think about, an opportunity or a case, or, this business might close, but this is what might prohibit you from closing it, and allow you to take those seamless actions across the platform.
A recipe book is a fantastic idea, such as recipes for success, coming from Salesforce, the maker of the most successful playbooks. Just ask your sales reps.
One of the things we did early on was, in our opportunities or in our lead management capability, we set a default for stages. And we actually looked at our own opportunity management and how we think about the stages of an opportunity and put those in there for our customers by default and what each stage meant and what it should mean to the customer. Now, we allow for simple customization of that through a quick settings menu where we allow a user to really just take quick actions like my default sales stages need to be X, Y, and Z versus ZYX, and customize as you would like. But again, it goes back to the whole idea that and the premise of this product is easy by default and advanced by choice. And that's a mantra that we've well established on the team. And we continue to think about in every new feature that we build.
In how far are they then pre-configured and pre-built processes, best practices, right in the product?
Yeah, I mean, we build them for you in the product from an opportunity or lead management standpoint. Actually, in text under our opportunity stage, list out what this means based on the stage you're in. And we assign an approximation of percentage to close based on the stage that you're in as well. All of those things carry through to how we build out the dashboard by default for you and how we think about the opportunity stages you're in, reflecting how your business is performing and what you should expect on a monthly, quarterly, annual basis, and reflect that through a dashboard or report.
And that without Einstein predictions.
Without Einstein predictions at this point.
Yeah. Well, no offense intended.
No, not taken.
Actually, it's quite amazing if it is sort of accurate.
Yeah.
Do you already have already some data on how accurate? Well, you probably put those stages based upon data that you already had.
Historical accuracy is how the stages were created, and we didn't make it up in a vacuum. So, but again, if a user wants to customize, what a first meeting stage or where you are in the lead process, if they want to put their own propensity to close in there or percentage to close, they can do so very easily. We built this nice quick settings panel, so you don't have to jump in. You don't have to be an expert admin and go into settings and figure out all the different configurations. You can just do so with a couple of clicks.
How many do so? Percentage-wise, roughly, just developer's thumb.
I'd say probably half of our orgs do some level of customization in there. I don't have any hard numbers.
I'm not asking for hard numbers.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also depends on where the customer is in their journey with us. I think if they're just starting out, they're more likely to just say, here's where I am, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm taking advantage of, versus getting a little further down the road, getting a little bit more comfortable with the level of customization we provide.
Cool. As we are approaching the top of the hour and conscious of especially your valuable time because ours is for free, I'd like to get into what we call the famous last words, which are not to terminate things, but well, to terminate this thing, but to end this thing. With Salesforce even having CRM on the stock symbol and basically having achieved to become synonymous for CRM, which is a feat in itself. What do you see as the future of CRM as a category, as a concept, as a strategy?
Good. Great last question.
Sometimes I have my moments.
No, that's good. I like it. It's good to spot me up. I see CRM evolving into more job-focused. And how do you think about all of your traditionally CRM-based, role-based products coming together in a more efficient, effective way to solve for the needs of every user? And how do AI, automation, and analytics really help to drive that journey for the user? I think that's where the future is headed. just my quick take.
It sounds
Oh, well.
good to me.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
All right. We'll
And
go
it's
build
re-
that now.
And it's refreshing to not hear so much AI and IoT and what other stuff and buzzwords. That was
Again,
great.
put it in front of the user and make it about the user, and the technologies to get there will be in support of the end users.
Yeah. Right, there are tools.
Yep.
The means to get there.
Exactly.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. This
you,
was
guys.
amazing. Awesome.
I appreciate it. It
Inspiring.
was a lot of fun.
I'm glad to have you. We look forward to talking about this again someday
Yeah.
after Starter has had some time in the sun.
Sounds good. I'll be back
Yeah.
anytime you want me.
Groovy.
Oh, well.
We hear it. We hear it. I'll be back.
That's my line.
You were not
So-
fast enough.
Thanks a lot again to you and everybody out there who we didn't manage to scare away. Actually, the system tells us that there are still some people remaining,
Oh, good.
which we now
Thank
say
you, people.
goodbye to. And well, let's go backstage.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thank you all.